This episode of Baking Day is brought to you by LG Canada. We'll be hearing more from them later in the episode. Hi, I'm Anna Olson, and I'm so glad you could join me for a Baking Day, where I make recipes that are meant to be shared with family and friends. Today's recipe is inspired by tiramisu, that creamy, decadent Italian dessert we all love. But I'm giving it a fresh twist, and I'm making a strawberry lemon tart. Yes, with that creamy mascarpone filling. Now, this would be a perfect dessert to serve at the end of a relaxed meal, maybe dining al fresco. You have to think spring and summer with a dessert like this. So, like tiramisu, I use ladyfingers soaked in a syrup, and I have that creamy mascarpone filling, but I lean on lemon flavors as opposed to coffee and marsala. But I put it in a tart shell, and that's where we're going to start. First, you want to preheat your oven to 350 in order to bake the tart shell. Just like making tiramisu, this tart has a number of components. We've got the crust, we've got the lemon syrup, the mascarpone filling, and then fresh strawberries on top. So you want to get all of these elements ready so that at the end, all you have to do is assemble. So with my oven preheating, I want to make my lemon syrup. I really want to work in a lot of lemon flavor. So in the syrup, I'm going to make use of the lemon peel. I just use a vegetable peeler to take the peel off. You don't need to use a fine zester here because this will infuse in the syrup, but these pieces of lemon won't actually end up in the dessert. I've got my pot with a little bit of water, and I'll add the lemon peel to that. And now I need 3 tablespoons or 45 ml of lemon juice. Squeeze that. I always love to use fresh lemon juice when I'm making lemon desserts. I mean, lemon is, after all, the star here. If you're buying lemons well ahead of time, say bulk buying lemons, did you know that you can pre-zest them, freeze the zest, and then juice them and freeze the juice separately? I freeze the zest in a little container, and then I just use a fork to scrape off the zest I need. So now I'll pour in my 3 tablespoons. A little more, a little less is okay, and a 1/4 cup of sugar. What I love about this dessert is it's not overly sweet. Now I'll pop this on the stove, and I want to simmer it, keep it at a low heat to let the flavor from the lemon peel cook into the syrup. You can give it a stir now and again, but it doesn't really need too much attention. Now it's time to make the crust. Of course, a normal tiramisu is served in a dish and you spoon it out to portion it. But I wanted to make something a little more elegant, but at the same time, keep it simple. So I'm just making a straightforward graham cracker crust, the kind that you would put at the base of a cheesecake, but it also works when you're using a pie or tart shell. I've got my 1½ cups of graham cracker crumbs and 1/4 cup of melted butter, and I'll just stir that together. If you want, you can get creative with the cookie crumb you choose to use. Of course, graham cracker crumbs are very popular in North America, but you could use digestive biscuits, you could use amaretti biscuits, those nice almond meringue cookies, and pulse them. Or if you have a homemade sugar cookie, on the crisp side, nothing too tender or delicate like a shortbread, that makes a great crumb for your crust. Hey, if you're a chocolate fan, go for a chocolate crumb crust. Once the crumbs are evenly moistened, it's time to put them in the tart shell. I'm using a 9-inch fluted tart shell that has a removable bottom to it. You can also assemble this tart in a basic pie plate if you wish. It still comes out of the pan easily. Now, here's a great little tip. If I'm lining a springform pan to make a cheesecake or a tart pan or pie plate, the way I line it with the crumb crust is the same. I like to push the crumbs up to the side first and then flatten the remaining crumbs in the bottom. I think a lot of people start with the base and then you end up with not enough crumbs for the side. Just use the back of your spoon to press the remaining crumb into the base. This crust only takes 10 minutes to bake, and you're really just setting it. There will be no visible change when you pull it out of the oven. While the crust bakes, we can make that delicious, decadent lemon mascarpone cream. So let me grab the cheese and my eggs. When you make a tiramisu, you make a zabaglione with egg yolks and usually some marsala wine, some sugar, and then you fold in the mascarpone cheese. Here, I'm using that same principle, egg yolks, but instead of any spirits, I'm using fresh lemon juice, zest, and then we'll work in that decadent cream. You'll need 5 yolks for this recipe. Of course, I'm going to save the egg whites. In some traditional tiramisu recipes, you actually whip the egg whites and fold them in even after you've added the mascarpone cheese. But that would make a cream that is a little bit too soft and it wouldn't be easy to slice in a tart shell. This filling is going to be rich and creamy, but it slices easily. Now let's add some lemon zest. This time I'm finally grating it into the bowl where I use the peel for the syrup, which I should take a peek at. Yep, it's doing just fine. I really want to work in a lot of lemon intensity here, so I'm using the zest of a full lemon. If you're really a lemon fanatic, you could use the zest of 2 lemons, but I wouldn't recommend more than that because then you'll actually start pulling on the bitterness from the lemons. Okay, now to juice these, I need a total of 6 tablespoons of juice, so 90 milliliters. You can add the juice right to the bowl. I also like to add just a touch of vanilla to this recipe. It kind of softens the flavors and really sort of bridges the creaminess of the mascarpone cheese to the tartness of the lemon juice. Half a cup of sugar goes in, and now is not the time to add your mascarpone cheese. This is when we make the sabayon. So we want to whip the egg yolks with the sugar and the lemon juice while cooking it over a water bath. And this takes about 4 minutes. You can do it by hand. I'm just going to use a whisk. If you'd rather, you can use electric beaters, but we're not trying to make a mousse or a meringue. You're simply keeping the sabayon moving while you cook the egg yolks. So right now, it's very lemony looking and fluid, and it will become more of a butter yellow as its volume grows. All right, this is ready to come off the heat. And here we go. Look at that gorgeous color. It's light and airy. And now your eggs are fully cooked. That lemon flavor has been worked in, and it's time to add the mascarpone cheese. Mascarpone is a rich, fresh Italian cheese, and that's what makes tiramisu and this tart so delicious. I'm just gonna dollop in about half of my tub. If you don't have access to mascarpone cheese, feel free to use 16 ounces, so the same volume, 450 grams of softened cream cheese. But you have to make sure it's very soft and you need to cream it or whip it before you add it to this mixture. The mascarpone cheese is slightly softer and sort of half melts into this warm lemony egg mixture. And then it starts cooling it down at the same time as it starts to thicken. The other plus is the acidity from the lemon juice works with the beautiful fat content in this fresh cheese, and it thickens the filling also, so that by the time you get it into the tart shell and chilling, it sets up firmer than a tiramisu that you prepare in a pan, so you can get those nice clean slices. It's all about making the tart look good, but also making you look good at the same time. So I'm gently whisking this in, smooths out the cream. I can smell the lemon juice. There we go. And you can actually see it thicken in front of your eyes. Look at that. All right, the lemon cream is done. Let's check on that tart shell. Oh, hello. As you can see, after 10 minutes, the tart shell doesn't look that different, but I do need to give it time to cool. We don't want to put this cream into a warm tart shell and have it melt. All right, our lemon cream is done. My lemon syrup is ready. The tart shell is cooling. So now's a perfect time to take a break and hear from our sponsor. This recipe is brought to you by LG Canada, featuring the LG InstaView refrigerator. Now you can raid the fridge without losing your cool. Just knock twice on the InstaView's sleek glass panel to see inside without letting the cool air out. And the door-and-door feature allows you easy access to your grab-and-go items. Also, using 20% less energy than required in Canada means your refrigerator will help your energy bill, energy consumption, and the environment. Plus, it's Energy Star certified. This versatile custom chill drawer gives you additional refrigerator or soft freeze space when you want it. With 4 temperature settings, it adapts to your needs, giving you flexibility to store a range of foods, from meats to fresh produce or cooking ingredients to cold drinks. Sustainable, practical, and beautiful, the LG InstaView refrigerator will be your favorite tool in the kitchen. All right, I know this is what you've been waiting for, the assembly of this beautiful strawberry lemon tart. Before I get into that, I want to get some whipped cream. A traditional tiramisu has whipped cream on top of it, so I kind of had to stick with that classic element. I've got my cream, give it a little shake. Now I'm only using half a cup, just for a little accent, so I'm going to whisk it by hand. Feel free to pull out the beaters for this. It doesn't take too long though. The key to success when you're whisking anything by hand is to actually bend at the elbow, not at the wrist, because if you're bending at the elbow, you're using the strength of your upper arm. So hold your wrist still, don't whisk like this. Right, I only add just a touch of icing sugar, and I might as well work in a little vanilla. No need to add lemon zest or juice here. We've already packed this tart with great lemon flavor. I really do want to take some time to decorate the top of this tart nicely, so I'm going to transfer the whipped cream to a piping bag. I've just got it fitted with a plain tip. There we go. And the last thing to get ready, the strawberries. To top this strawberry tart, I want to create a ring of strawberries. But to create some visual appeal, I'll cut the strawberries in slightly different ways. So some strawberries I will simply cut in half, some I will quarter, and some I will slice so they are in rings. That'll really give this tart a great look. One fruit, 3 different ways. The first thing you need to do is put half of the filling at the base of the tart. If you were to put ladyfingers soaked in syrup at the bottom of this tart shell, well, the tart shell would go soggy. This protects it. Spread that in a nice even layer. You could, I suppose, skip adding the ladyfinger layer with the syrup, but what it adds to the dessert is it brings it back to that tiramisu texture, and it adds essentially a layer of cake in the middle of a tart. Is it a tart caken? Is that what you would call it then? Okay, there we go. I've got my lemon soaking syrup. I took it out of the pot, and I've got 12 ladyfinger biscuits. You can make your own if you wish. I have a recipe right here on the Oh Yum channel, or you can buy them pre-made. And they're dry sponges. They're meant to soak up flavor. So in the syrup, just a quick little dip. You don't want to leave them sitting in the syrup for long. You're going to line them up side by side, close together, on top of this creamy filling. And you'll feel within just a matter of minutes how the ladyfingers start softening up. Now you top the ladyfingers with the remaining cream. And spread the cream to level it, completely concealing the ladyfingers. What I do love about this recipe is that you can make this tart up to this point a full day ahead. What is ideal is to give the tart a couple of hours if you can to let it chill. Even half an hour makes a difference. After just a little while, the mascarpone will have set in place, and you'll find it's easier to arrange the strawberries on top. So let's get this onto our presentation plate. This lovely platter was actually my grandmother's, so only the most special desserts get put on top of it. And now we can arrange the strawberries. Just take your time, find your zen place, and I'm going to create a ring. I'll start with the bigger pieces of strawberry first to kind of give myself strawberry direction here. And then I'll fill in the blanks. I don't want to completely cover the top of the tart because I want you to see that the lemon cream filling is under there. How's that looking? Yeah? Now for a little of that whipped cream. Little dots here and there. And if you'd like, a little fresh mint adds a pop of color and speaks to the summery taste you can expect from this dessert. I think lemon and mint is a great combination. What a showstopper of a dessert. Oh, I love this combination. The crisp crust, the tart yet creamy, decadent filling, the fresh strawberries on top. Oh, little cream and mint. You can see the softened ladyfingers within. I love how easily and cleanly this tart slices. Oh, and between the tart lemony flavor, the creamy mascarpone, the fresh strawberries, this is your dessert for spring and summer. I thank you so much for joining me on this baking day, and I hope you will make the strawberry lemon tart for your friends and family. You're going to impress them and yourself at the same time. Enjoy and keep it sweet.